Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And what I'm going to be discussing today, I'm going to be discussing the Hoodoo benefits of pokeberry ink. So, down in the South or even in the African American community, this beautiful herb vegetation is called poke salad. It gets its name for being famous, for being eaten as a salad. Now here is the thing when it comes to it. It's so famous and so well known because it is quote unquote poisonous. And what I mean by that is it cannot be a salad. It's not eaten as a salad. It is not eaten as a salad raw. It has to be prepared a particular way to cook the poison out of it. My video is not to discuss how to prepare poke salad, okay? There are plenty of videos explaining how to do that, how popular it was, and a safe way to do that. But my video is pertaining to the Hoodoo benefits or Hoodoo medicine it was used in regards to this vegetation. So I'm going to be talking about specifically or focusing more on the berries and not necessarily the leaves. I will discuss the leaves and how you can use those. But I want to show you all how to make pokeberry ink. Considering it's the time of the year, this is the time to really harvest your berries. They're very much mature. These are immature berries. You see they're kind of green right here, but the mature ones are very purple. I have them in a bag because that is how I gathered them. I went to the area where poke is grown. I said my prayer. I gave water as an offering, and I thanked the plants, and I named the many benefits that I expect to get from the plant and thank them for it. Thank the plant for it. And acknowledge the medicine that I know it will be able to provide for me. In Hoodoo, we describe medicine as a prescription, meaning anything that is used to help you attain prosperity, wealth, peace of mind, everlasting joy, health, anyway. In that fashion. So what we have here are the pokeberries that I foraged myself. I have fed these berries. I've talked to them. I fed them with tobacco smoke and whiskey, right? And I have called on my ancestors to help me with making the ink of this berry. This ink can be used for banishing negativity, breaking hexes, breaking curses, especially for writing petitions and also amplifying petitions, because the ink can also look like blood, symbolize blood as well. And blood is an amplifier in spirituality. So the red creates passion. It's the energy of passion. So that is why it is also considered an amplifier. So when you write your petitions, the petitions will not only serve as a form of protection, but an amplified version of protection and also amplify your work. So we have this one plastic bag so far. Ziploc bag. I snip, poof, let it fall in the bag. Let it fall in the bag. When I went and foraged the berries. This is not thick enough because the berries, they can stain. It's not going to be a permanent stain, especially with new berries that has not been sitting to create the ink. But they can stain your hands, and if that happens, all you have to do is wash your hands with soap and water. As far as the plant goes, the berries is the least poisonous on the plant. It is the seed in the berry that can be poisonous if you were to consume the seed. The reason why I am talking about consumption of the seed is because the berry itself was used to fight rheumatism, and people will consume the berry whole without breaking the seed and actually swallowing it like a pill. Poultice was made out of the berry, the flesh of the berry, and placed on joints as well. But again, my video is not showing you how to do that. And plus, you're not going to be blaming Mama Yana because you had a mild reaction. So, I typically don't use gloves. I haven't had any reactions to the juice of the berry, which is going to be used to create our ink. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3 sandwich bags. The reason why is because the reason why I did 3 sandwich bags is because sometimes the juice of the berry can leak out of one bag, and I want to make sure I don't create a big mess. If you don't mind creating a big mess, that's on you. All right, but the point of keeping it in the bag is because I'm going to create something that's going to allow me to pipe the juice out of the bag, which is the smartest way that I have seen to do this. I don't have to take the berries out of the bag. I can crush the berries with my bare hands, and I don't have to worry about anything. What you're going to do is you're going to take a pair of scissors and you're going to cut just a small slit. Not too big, because if it's too big, where'd that plastic go? If it's too big, there will be too much juice coming out at the same time, and you won't be able to control the juice. I have a funnel here. You don't have to use the funnel. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you you don't have to. I have some juice coming out already. Look at that. So my berries have been sitting for about a day. And look, I'm just squeezing these berries. Squeeze. Look how easy. The reason why I have that funnel is because I'm going to transfer this ink into a bottle that I already have. And I like to store my ink in. Squeeze. And I'm gently doing this, okay? Look at all of that. It's coming out easy. My hands, see what I mean? How some of the juice can come up and out because I'm squeezing. But my hands are protected. I don't need any gloves. No big mess. See, look at that. No big mess. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Look at all of that. So this is one average size sandwich bag worth of berries. If you're going to put your berries inside of a bag, make sure there is a little bit of room up top so that you have room to squeeze the berries. So it's not going to be too much as far as, air coming upward. You just need room. Look at all of that juice. Look it. Out of one bag. And I can just keep squeezing. If I want. Look at all of that. I'm getting a lot of juice. I'm getting a lot. In this way, this method I found to be more effective of actually getting as much juice as you can out of the berries. The juice of the berry smells very tangy, a little bit of tangy. So you can imagine how they taste. So those who are so interested and curious about as far as the poison that this berry can actually produce if you ingest them, it says that you cannot do. Well, it is said that you can't do no more than 8, but if you go over 3, honey, you can have a lot of in comfort. You can be very uncomfortable when it comes to your stomach, so on and so forth. So, like I said, people were just taking 1 a day. But anyways, look at all the juice I have out of 1 bag, and I can actually still squeeze more juice. This is a natural ink, remember that. So with that being said, you want to preserve the ink. You don't want it to mold up on you or anything like that. So you want preservatives. So you want to take a little bit of white vinegar, just a little bit, and also some salt. And we know in Hoodoo, salt is great for protection, cleansing, and purification. And in addition to vinegar as well. So these are great complements to this pokeberry ink to preserve them. Now what I have also is I am also going to put the ash of a Bible verse that I have burned into my ink. This is what makes my recipe different from average pokeberry ink. Not just including, not just the inclusion of, praying over my berries and my leaves, feeding them, things of that sort. But this is what makes it unique in Hoodoo. Very much Hoodoo. Because we're using this ink for protection. We're using this ink for petitions. And we want to put an offering, a burnt offering, we call it a burnt offering, into the ink. So I have put a Bible verse inside there. I got a little bit of ink on my hand. I've stirred that up. The Bible verse I used was Psalms 138:7, and it goes as follows: though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve my life. You stretch out your hand against the anger of my foes. With your right hand, you save me. So, I grabbed a brown paper bag. If you don't have a brown paper bag, that's fine. I wrote down that Bible verse. I warmed it up in my hands. I prayed onto that Bible verse. I burned the Bible verse, and I used it as an ingredient, an active ingredient for my pokeberry ink. Other things that you can use this ink for is dyeing material. So a lot of hoodoo recipes called for red cloth or red flannel. So this is a piece of white flannel, and I'm telling you, it does dye. The pokeberry will dye the material. Imagine using your consecrated ink as a dye for your red flannel, for your mojos, or for a bracelet you may need to use. And let me show you. So this is brand new ink. But I'm going to show you how just a brand new ink can affect a piece of cloth. And then I'm going to show you how it writes as well. So you see that, imagine it sitting. You want to kind of submerge the cloth or whatever piece of cloth with the ink, dilute it a little bit with a little bit of water and a little bit of vinegar to create more of a dye for your cloth. But it can be used to dye cloth, to turn it red, and you have a protective dye in the cloth. Here I have my pokeberry ink that I have already made months ago. I want to say like August I made this ink. No mold, none of that. And I'm going to take my funnel and I'm going to take this ink. Easy. Look at that, easy. Boom. You may also store your pokeberry ink in a jar, something dark, in like a dark canister, a dark glass. Amber is great, blue glass is great. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is ideal for you to store your ink in a dark, cool place so that the sun doesn't bleach the ink too much, because if the sun gets to it, it can turn brown. So you want to keep it in a dark place, and the darker the glass, the better. In addition to, if you're going to write with the ink, you want to make sure that the sun does not bleach your paper, because it will bleach the ink and the ink will become non-existent. But if you have your book closed, or you have whatever you've written on closed, and you're just trying to keep it fairly just with the pokeberry ink, then you will be okay. So I have a brush here. This is not the brush I was looking for though, but I have a brush here to show you how this ink can write. And I don't want to use this paper. I'll just use this piece of paper here. Remember, it is ink, and when it's fresh ink, it can bleed through. You can also put this into a fountain pen as well. And I'm just using a paintbrush. Let me show you. It's not the best example here using this, because I like to use a pen or porcupine quill. But here, boom. I put a P for Coke. But it will dry, and it's going to dry lovely. This color is beautiful. If you want to even create special paintings with this, you may, and it's going to come off and it's going to look like a watercolor painting. The more you dilute it, you could do that. There's just so many things you can do with this ink. Now let's briefly talk about the leaves. I got a bag of leaves there. I'm going to get more. I'm going to dry them out. But the leaves can be dried out and created into powder. This powder can be used to drive your enemies away. You may put the powder into a sack at your front door with the mixture of salt if you want to drive your enemies away, or negative energy away, or witchcraft away. I also want to add that the leaves are also used to break hexes. So people will actually use the plant and cleanse themselves downward with the plant to help break hex, and also use it as an ingredient in baths. Excuse me. And the leaves are also used in candles, to dress candles, used just for many things. I personally have not tried burning it as incense, so I'm not going to recommend that. I'm not saying it cannot be done. I haven't tried it, and so I cannot recommend something I've never tried. That would be very irresponsible of me. But I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Pulpberry ink is very powerful, and like I said, it is used to break hexes. It is also used to clear out negative energy and also amplify energy because of its color. It is used as a dye. Many uses you can use for this use this ink for. And I thank you for coming back to my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and you stay blessed.